And also, let me just a little bit give some of the sentiments that the Honorable Minister actually raised. Now, I believe that well, that is my actually my conception. I believe that Nigeria has not actually, at this very moment, taken the state capacity, the liquid state capacity and its consumption, taking it as a rule of thumb index for economic and military power, which should be generously guided. Now, the Honorable Minister mentioned about the invitation of local institutions to revitalize the light means this set of that Ajaokuta. So these are part of what has happened before. These are these concessional processes that have taken place so far, many of them, and they all woefully collapsed because instead of even raising the hope that the state sector will come up on board, it's either the investors or the investors, the other strip off of our national wealth or assets. Now, he did mention also, rightly mentioned that what they ought to have done first, they didn't do that, but they went to this concessional aspect of the program. Now, the first thing, and if you want actually Ajaokuta to come up on board, is to invite, that is the first thing, is to invite the original builder of this sector, the owner of the technology. And he mentioned that it's just 2%, and that is correct. It's a technical completion of Ajaokuta. And what are these 2%? They are the primary unit that actually we convert the iron ore, the raw material, into liquid steel, which is the steel making and the iron making and the steel making that really needs to be completed. And what is left in the iron making is the upper part of the blast furnace, which actually control the entire technology of that process that is left uncompleted. If actually we want, because these are what happened with past ministers and past government, this concessional process, but they are trying using a different method. It's still the same privatization concession process, which I'm not a prophet of doom. It will also come to the same story. But if we invite the original builder, if we close our eyes and say, okay, other builder will help us, it will not do the right thing, because steel industry itself is international industry. And whatever that is happening in Nigeria, every other country is interested. And so the people who have actually given us this opportunity to have our steel base, the metal base, because it's actually, as Irati mentioned, is the bedrock of industrialization. We should jealously. He mentioned about just $2 billion that is required. And that $2 billion, it can be sourced. Because I was among those that wrote, developed 69-page framework for effective and efficient organization, or planning organization, supervision, regulation and monitoring of the sector that will actually lead to the development and growth of that metal sector. And among that, also we mentioned about the financing. In that bill, there is also a section or articles that are related to how this can be funded. It will not require money from the government, just like the Egyptians. Egyptians went on and what they did, to the extent that ordinary farmer can buy assets of their steel industry. The steel industry, well, I know the steel industry in Egypt is run by the government. And that can be done also. It is there in that 69-page framework. Now, he mentioned about power supply. So, power supply, Ajaokuta has the capacity, is self-sufficient in power supply, and it also can give out of what he has produced. Now, what people don't really understand, people are always saying, before anything, someone can get something done, that you have to first think about power supply. But I think otherwise. It is actually the metal base that you're supposed to come first before the power supply. Because even when you acquire power supply from anywhere, you cannot sustain it without metal base. And that is why this sector should be jealously guided, and whatever means to ensure that that liquid steel, the crude steel production and its capacity is actually enhanced and allowed to come to fruition. And that is what actually I wanted to actually talk to the honorable minister, and also the doctor that is with you there at the studio. He actually mentioned one vital issue about taking different ministry now having different authority over some of the things that are actually related to metal industry. I'm talking about metal industry now, which includes also iron and steel industry. To the extent that you have a Ministry of Mines, a Ministry of Solid Minerals, and you have a Ministry of Steel. And those that actually that need to be before. Look, okay, I just want to mention before I forget. Look, even if we tomorrow complete Ajaokuta and we want to start, and the raw material bids are not there, we still remain where we are. And that is why, apart from even looking at the generality of having a steel production, we should also talk about the solid mineral base, because today we are exporting them. We are allowing people to mine, and they export the raw material without value added, without even doing a semi conversion of those raw material. And tomorrow, when we will start the steel industry, we may not have the solid mineral there. That is another issue. That is why I am taking just before I say a little recommendation. Now, in order to harness this sector or these ministries, there is a need to create that body. It's not the Nigerian State Council, the body that will actually stand a little bit independent per se, but under the supervision of the ministry.